In today's video, we are going to be breaking down a much anticipated and asked for shooting form, and that is Tacko Fall. So let's get down and let's see how good and how well Tacko Fall's shooting form really is. So here we have Tacko Fall, and in this warm-up footage, because he doesn't take that many three-point shots or even mid-range shots in-game that are clear with highlights online, we're going to be breaking down this shot right here. So what we're going to have here is, first off, we want to look at his feet, and with his feet, they are both pointing towards the rim, and his body is actually squared up, hips as well, to the rim. This is a stereotypical, very accurate shooting form, or at least the base to it. The reason is because ever since the beginning of time, they have been teaching players to square up towards the rim. Now, when Tacko Fall shoots this ball, he actually has a one motion shot. He doesn't really stop all that much up top. Now, that's good because it's going to give him more power, but with his length, is that good? It's hard to say. However, I really have huge hope that Tacko Fall will be actually a big shooter and ball handler one day. So he gathers the ball at his waist and goes straight up into his set point, which does, even though he is squared up to the rim, does have his shoulder and elbow actually pointed straight towards the net. It does seem that the basketball is over top of his shoulder. There is only a slight degree angle off from 90 degrees, so I'm going to call it a 90 degrees elbow. He is just past 90 degrees on his shoulder, just past or under 90 degrees on his elbow, and his wrist is not 90, it's maybe a 45 off of his upper arm. Now, when you're looking at some of the most what they call prettiest shots in the world, you'll see a 90 here, a 90 on the elbow, and 90 on the wrist, but that is not always the case, and not everyone can shoot like that. We do also see that there is a space between his palm and the ball, and that will allow him to have more control over the ball, especially when you've got a hand that is pretty much half the size of the ball. You're going to want to shoot either like that. You might find that it could be more accurate sometimes to shoot on your palm if you've got a hand the size of most people's arms. However, at the same time, you have to remember that having your palm on the ball can take away a lot of your grip on the ball as well. We do notice that his hand is near or is on the side but closer to the back of the ball, which means that he may have a thumb flick, and as we can see here, he does have a slight thumb flick right there. However, it's not overly done like a Steph Curry thumb flick. He does almost shot put it as well, very similar to how Shaq shoots the ball, which I understand because the hand being so big, it is actually quite hard to shoot a basketball. If you ever go and pick up, as an adult, pick up a size 5 basketball, which is used for younger players, you're going to be probably shooting it very similarly because it is just so hard to shoot a small ball. So I would say it's more a shot put than anything, but at the same time, that last pointer finger looks like it could be potentially the last finger that touches the ball. And he does get some pretty good rotation on that shot, and he does make a lot of shots from the mid-range, and he has hit a few shots from 3, just not many great highlights of it online for me to grab. He does slightly bring in his right knee when he does go up into his shot, which is interesting that his knees do come together. Some people say that this could be a possible sign of injury proneness, but I'm going to stay away from that conversation right now. And overall, a very good shot. So if you are a bigger player like Tacko Fall, what are some of the things that you can do as a player so that you can shoot better? Because I know it's extremely hard to shoot small basketballs. Definitely, as we can see here, if you can get your elbow underneath that ball, for most players, that will create a very straight shot. Is it easy for some? No. If you cannot get your elbow underneath that ball, you can tilt your body and still have your elbow out. You can be tilted away from the rim, and that will equal out having that elbow flare out because you really want to have your shoulder and elbow in line with the basket. So if you can't get your elbow underneath that ball, you can then bring your body tilted away from the rim, and then that way you can have that ball over top of your shoulder or your upper arm, and then still have the ability to have that all in line. Number 2, if you're taller, what you can do is to release that ball super high, but also what I want you to really practice on doing is trying to get that ball off of your middle finger as much as possible. Don't shoot to the side like Tacko Fall does. Try to shoot forward. And how you can do this is by very simply going up to the rim and being very close to the rim and just practicing and trying to really focus on your release, trying to focus on your flick, and then build your way out. And then at that point, you can have a, I would say, more consistent shot, because by shot putting it off of your pointer finger and maybe your thumb, it can get to a point where it may not be very consistent. It may be very hard. If you do find consistency in doing that, then go ahead and do it. I'm not saying to stop. However, if you can really practice this style of shooting form, another good one is Pochevsky. I think I pronounced that right. He's another good tall player who can shoot, or even Dirk Nowitzki. Those are great players to really emulate if you're a lot taller of a player. I hope that these tips have helped you become a better shooter. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.